A little while back, I asked you guys on a community post to ask your questions about Minecraft, and whoo, I did not expect it to be so popular. You guys commented over 1,000 times. Let me know your questions in Minecraft. Now, my original intent for the post was to answer your questions about Minecraft, not like my opinions or anything like that. Like, if you're having problems in Minecraft, how can I help you? But a lot of people wanted to know my personal opinions about the game. That wasn't really what I was going for, but I might do a video like that in the future since so many of you guys wanted that, obviously. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you can obviously see these community posts in your feed. You guys who subscribe are awesome. Starting off with Lawrence, who asks, okay, listen, I'm literally copying down your messages, so the English is not always perfect. How do you moving into Portal from the stronghold back to your house where you spawned at in survival mode for version 1.14? So you want to take an end portal and move it from one location to another. And that is not an easy thing to do, mostly because it's impossible. We're gonna switch into survival mode. I have a few things here to help me out, and I'm gonna just go ahead and break this spawner here. But if you were to find this in your world, the first thing you would do is throw some eyes of Ender into this frame. Bam, it's open to the end, and holy moly, there is a whole bunch of silverfish, and I'm gonna die with silverfish. So to show you what I mean that it's impossible, if I come over here and try to mine up the frame with any type of pick, that just will not happen. It's not something that's just not rendering. It's just not gonna happen. I'm not gonna be able to pick this thing up. So to answer your question, it is not possible. My suggestion would be to have a portal linked here through the nether so you don't have to go that far. And also, if you happen to have access to creative mode, you could do that too. With creative mode, just make sure that whenever you're placing the portals down, that you will be standing in the middle of the portal. Otherwise, if you have even just a single one of those blocks that are in a different orientation, the portal will not happen. So here, I'm gonna purposely take this one and I'm gonna put it at an off axis. And then when I put the eye inside of it, doesn't work. But then if I put it at the correct axis where I'm standing in the middle when I put it down, apparently there's some zombie spawner around here because it's going crazy, then it'll actually create the portal. So there you go. The next question is from Chesro Noms, who asks, how can you navigate the nether to find your way back to your portal if you get lost or having trouble getting back? So if you're in the nether, and I'm going to assume 1.15 for the moment, and I'll also tell you about 1.16 a little bit, and you've lost the portal, that means that you do not have access to this type of obsidian created portal. Whoo, baby, that's a difficult one, because we've done an entire episode on how to get out of the nether if you're stuck without flint and steel and the portal is not lit, if it's in this configuration. But if you actually lose the portal, making obsidian is basically impossible in the nether. You cannot place down water next to a lava source because water doesn't exist in the nether. You're gonna have to try to find your portal, or you could get really creative with some nether fortresses. The good news is that finding your portal may not be as difficult as you think, because most likely you created a base near your spawn point in the overworld, and wherever you spawn in the world is normally only about, say, 250 blocks maximum, maybe 300 blocks maximum away from 0, and that divided by the nether means that it isn't going to be too far away from 0. So my best suggestion would be to make your way back to the 0 of the area. You can either turn on your coordinates if you're in the Bedrock version, or you can obviously hit F3 if you are in the Java edition. And once you're near 0, start your search there. If you have built your base super far away from 0, and you know that, like, I went thousands of blocks in a direction, I don't know the coordinates, I don't know any of that stuff, then I would suggest going ahead and making your own portal. So what you're gonna have to do is go and find an untouched nether fortress, or at least another fortress that has the chests inside of it still intact. And inside of those chests, every once in a while, you will be able to get some obsidian. Obviously, this is all, this is hindsight's 2020. Obviously, if you're in this situation, you should have definitely taken a note of the coordinates of your portal before getting into this situation. But now that we're here, we're here. So inside of these chests right here, every once in a while, there will be obsidian. Looks like I didn't get lucky on either of these. And you would have to find 10 pieces of obsidian to get out of the nether. And that would not be an easy thing to do. Now, if you happen to be playing in 1.16, things are a lot easier for you because there is a whole bunch of better ways to get obsidian. The main one being that you can barter with piglins in order to get obsidian, or you can find the ruined obsidian portals and you can repair one because there's a lot of useful obsidian. You have to destroy the crying obsidian. But once you find the ruined portal, or you find some piglins and there's plenty of gold in the walls, then you can easily make your own portal and get out and continue to use the techniques of the other video that I made, which is how to get unstuck from the nether if you don't have a flint and steel. The next question is from the insidious Dr. Chupa, who says, why don't flying machines work correctly on Xbox One? And so here we have in Java Edition a very simple flying machine. So this is probably the simplest flying machine I know how to make right off the top of my head, which is just the 4 slime, 2 different observers, and 2 sticky pistons. And this will just go back and forth and work correctly as a flying machine. And the reason that this will not work in the Bedrock version of the game, which as a demonstration here, I will show you it does not work. And I'll just go ahead and break that. It kind of works, but as you can see, it doesn't really fly in a predictable manner. It's kind of like a random, number generator here. You never know which way it's going to go. The reason is because of quasi connectivity. There's a whole bunch of things that happen in Java that do not happen in Bedrock, and a lot of the flying machines take advantage of some weirdness with pistons. I can't even look at this. I'm going back to Java where things make sense. Okay, so we're back in the Java edition of the game. So basically, redstone in the Bedrock version of the game actually works correctly. It works so correctly that it's actually kind of a problem for a lot of the redstone designs that lots of people show off, sort of the popular redstone things. It's basically how redstone is intended from just written down sort of perspective, oh yes, this is supposed to work this way, this is supposed to work that way. But in Java, you have a whole bunch of behaviors, especially around pistons, called quasi connectivity, which is it's not quite connected, but it kind of is, that is not used in Bedrock, and it gives a whole bunch of exploitable behaviors. Although a thing to note is that this does not mean that the Java redstone is broken. Even in bug reports about redstone, saying oh, this is how this piston works this way, this is wrong, developers will say nope, works as intended, this is not a bug. One big example right here is a Jeb door. Right here we have a redstone line that actually powers this piston below it. There's no other redstone here to speak of, and somehow this redstone line is going through this block, through this piston to another piston. This doesn't happen anywhere else. How on earth is that working? That is all sort of quasi connectivity going on, that it's working weirdly, but it is as intended. We have seen just in the past few weeks some redstone updates in the snapshots, and they look like they may be taking some of this weirdness with redstone and documenting it, making it standardized so that both platforms, Java and Bedrock, will be sort of the same with redstone. At least that is my hope. We'll see if it happens. The next question is from Gsus. He says, hey man, love your videos style. Thank you so much. My question is, what is more efficient way? Dyslexia, it's a hard handicap. What's your more efficient way to mine? And so here we are in a mine shaft area, and this is what most people will suggest. This is probably the basic way that people suggest that you mine, which is to mine a hole, go over 2 blocks, and then mine another long hole. And this is a strip mine situation. This would be at a level that is probably at diamonds. Most people suggest this way to dig, but I do not. I don't suggest this way to build. Dig, not build. You're destroying, not building. And the reason is there's actually a fantastic article written up in the Minecraft Wikipedia that discusses thoroughness versus efficiency. And your question is specifically about efficiency. This situation is super thorough because when you're inside of this tunnel, you get to see this block, this block, this block, this block, this block, this block, you know, not that block, actually, it's at a corner, but you get to see every single block around you as you're going through, which is great for thoroughness because if you move only 2 blocks over, then you see all the other blocks still in that area and you've seen all the blocks in this section. The thing is, you really don't need to. As you're heading through a mine, what you're hoping to do is come across unfound diamonds, right? Unfound resources. And if you dig in this pattern, most likely your resources will have been mined already by the tunnel that is right next to you because in general, resources are about for, you know, a 2x2 situation. That means that you're going to be going through areas that you've already mined through before. So this is actually much more efficient to make sure that you do not overlap some area that you've seen before. You may be thinking, oh my, but what if there's diamonds right there? Well, sure, but what if there's diamonds all along the whole way? You moving forward and hitting an area that you have never looked at before and then you don't have any chance of overlapping what you've seen before is actually way more efficient than the other way. This is more thorough, but you really don't need that. There's a fantastic graph that really shows this, and this is where I've come up with the number of 6 blocks in between. This is 6 full blocks, so 1, 2, 3, 4, that torch is 5, and then 6. The 7th is the mine shaft, and this would be way more efficient to mine. The next question is from, and I'm gonna butcher this name, I can just tell, Conrado Dindo Ramos. I hope I got that right. Where/how to find netherite? Well, netherite is going to be in the new 1.16 version of Minecraft. Let me give myself some night vision here. Whoa, it's very red, but I think you can see the netherite a little bit better now. So this is not netherite. This is ancient debris. And ancient debris is what you need in order to get netherite. So what you're actually asking for is, how do I find ancient debris? And once again, the wiki comes through for us here. It has a great graph showing that the most efficient place to look for ancient debris, obviously it's going to be in the nether, and obviously in 1.16. So if you're playing on 1.15 at the moment, which is the released version of Minecraft, you're not going to find it in the nether. But then head to the bottom of the nether and look along the y-axis of 14. So here we are at level 14, and as you can see, I would have found a few pieces of netherite if I happened to bump into them at this level. It's a pretty obvious tell that it really needs to be level 14. You could probably be at level 13 on the actual coordinates because your head would be in 14 and your feet would be in 13. So that is how you find the ancient debris. Then all you got to do is smelt this stuff up. Well, and then it makes, it's a complicated process. 1 second. Okay, we're gonna throw down a furnace. You take your ancient debris, throw that in there, take some coal, throw it in the bottom. You don't get the netherite at the moment. You're actually going to get ancient scraps, or netherite scraps, I guess. Netherite scraps, there they are. And then you take that and you merge it with a piece of gold. Once you have enough of those, you'll need at least 4. Then you will combine it with gold that you've already mined in the overworld, and that will be your netherite ingot. And this doesn't have to be in any particular order. It'll just have to be 4 by 4, and then you'll get netherite. And that can be combined with diamond gear to get your netherite gear. So that is how you get netherite. Starts off with ancient debris, and then you go through a process from there. And there you go. Thank you so much for watching this episode of OMG Craft. I only got to 5 questions this episode, and there were literally thousands of comments. So I expect that I'm going to be using that post and a future video to come up with with even more questions and answers. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give this video a big old thumbs up. That'll show me that I should make more of these videos in the future. Big thank you to those of you who are YouTube members. You guys absolutely rock. Thank you so much for supporting me directly. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we'll see you on the next episode of OMG Craft. Bye.